Today I want to talk about the difficulty you have when you are realizing the true state of existence. The difficulty you have to put that into words and to communicate it effectively. Lately, when I had meditation sessions, somehow my mind couldn't stop thinking about how it could actually put this experience into words. And then I've been thinking it must have been the same way for everyone who has shifted into this perspective. Because language doesn't get there, that language doesn't go there. It's not where our conceptual understanding of words are coming from. Of course, when you are talking to someone who is in the same perspective, you don't even need words, it's clear. But to someone who hasn't had the experience, how do you actually communicate it? And then I had the thought, when a few years back I read the interesting thought or idea, if it would be possible for you to create a new color in a lucid dream. And I want to give this example because it's very similar to the state or the situation where you want to communicate the awake state. And the few years back there, I tried in lucid dreams to somehow experience a new color. I wasn't successful. I couldn't manipulate my dream in that way, in such a way as that my mind comes up with a completely new experience of a color. And why is this relevant? It's because the mind is only able to create an experience of what it already knows. An experience that is within the framework of possibilities that it itself knows. And so with awakening, you are actually, for the first time in your life, probably shifting into a state of experience that is radically different. And prior to that, your mind just cannot imagine it. And so words, even if in the example of the new color, somehow you give the new color a name, a new name, and you say, someone is telling you, yeah, I have been able to dream up this new color in my dream and I call it such and such, and he's giving you the name. Will you be able to use that name in order to dream that color? No. And even if he uses some description of, yeah, it has a little bit of this red, but it's not really red, and it has the feeling of blue, but still there it's not blue. But yeah, how do you get to this like new color? How do you actually get to the new state of experience? Granted, it's different because waking up is not an experience in and of itself. It's the whole framework of experience is recontextualized, but I hope you get my point. The words that we are using, the framework we are operating under, is only able to point to other points in the web of understanding that you already have. And so this whole attempt to communicate the awake state is really impossible. I wanted to say difficult, but I cannot see a way where you can just put a certain order of words together and present them that will trigger this shift in the mind. And the fundamental challenge here is that language really is a self-created web of reference. And it only is useful to us because we have connected these dots of meaning that are these different words. We have connected them in our experience to certain other impressions that we have, visually, auditory, with all our senses basically. And that's how this web of language actually is able to communicate something between people. We use these points of meaning that in our minds are connected to the experiences. But if you try to actually use some of these points of understanding, these knots in the web, to somehow create a new experience in and of itself, it's not possible. Because every word that you use is either, when it's only conceptual, pointing to other ideas, concepts, words, meanings in that whole web, subconsciously, or it's directly pointing to an experience. But that means you can only really get through language what you already know. Or you can build on top of what you already know, new concepts. But it's impossible to actually create for you the shift in perspective necessary in order to really get what is meant by all the spiritual explanations. And so you're really stuck, or the only thing that is helpful here is to point to the techniques that will work. And while we all hope that the next spiritual talk, the next seminar, the next spiritual teaching will somehow click for us and make the shift possible, I think it's a futile attempt. At least it hasn't worked in my experience. The radical shift in perspective have always seemingly uncaused, just happened. They just, out of nowhere, seem to be facilitated only by the preparatory work that I have probably done. And you could say successfully so, but not in the moment where it happened. It's not like you do something specifically and then the shift happens. It's more so you stick to the practices over the years and you somehow prepare your mind to be able to do the impossible. And yeah, that's how I think it works. Hope you got something useful out of this. And at that point, I want to thank a new supporter of this channel, Andre van Gaalen. Thank you for becoming a supporter of this channel. This really means so much to me. And maybe if you are not yet supporting this channel and you have the money to spare in this month and these videos, they mean something for you, really consider becoming a member of this channel, because it means really so much to me. It's not so much in the money, but in the feedback that I get. Okay, there are people out there who actually find this useful, because it can sometimes be a little bit one-sided, so to speak, or you put out the content and then you only see the views and you never know, like, is this really helpful to people? But I know from some people that I'm working with that it's really helpful to them, but also your support is highly appreciated. Yeah, thank you for that, and see you soon.